All right, you guys, we're going to talk about mother wound and father wound today. I want to give you 3 key things that you need to understand to the very core. You need to feel into them. You need to embody them to ever be able to heal mother wound and father wound. Thing number 1 is we all have mother wound and father wound. Thing number 2 is in order to heal mother wound, father wound, you need to completely release judgment, because healing of these wounds is based on frequency of compassion. And point number 3 is you do not heal mother wound and father wound to fix your relationship with your parents, with your caregivers, to fix it and to ever make it better. So let's unpack these points so we really understand what I'm talking about here. Number 1 that I mentioned was we all have mother wound and father wound, and it's a common misconception, and I'll explain in a moment why people have that misconception, but most people don't realize that we all have mother wound and father wound, because in order not to have a mother wound and father wound, you would need to be raised by divine feminine mother, divine feminine father in inner union, and they would probably still give you something, because we are all humans after all. So father wound and mother wound is not about having a parent that was very abusive, that was a relationship that was very abruptive, that was full of turmoil. It's not only about having a parent that wasn't present, it is just about the distortion within the energy of your parents. So for the mother, it's the feminine energy. For the father, it's the masculine energy, because our caregivers are meant to teach us to embody properly these energies. So minimum distortion we have there, it will cause a father wound and a mother wound. And unfortunately, because many people don't understand that, they only heal mother wound and father wound in cases where they really drastic, they really abruptive, when they are ready to completely release that relationship with a father, with a mother. And it's also linked to the fact that healing of that wound is often tied with subconscious guilt, because we live in a society that is based on an illusion of duality. We're taught to see everything as good or bad, black and white. When someone says to us, you have to heal father wound because you have that father wound, so you think to yourself, no, I don't, because my father was a good person, because my mother was a good person. It has nothing to do with them being a good person or a bad person. Absolutely nothing to do. You have to remove that illusion of good and bad, black and white, from healing of that wound. And I want to give you one specific example. When we talk about, for example, mother wound, right? Many people say, no, I don't have mother wound because my mother was an amazing person. She was there for me. She would always support me. And it's a common example, actually, when we have a mother that there's not a single bad thing that we would say about this mother. She actually loved you. She actually was there for you every day, every year of your life. She would support you. She would tell you, I love you. You're the best. Good job, right? But the thing is that we do not raise our children for the words that we speak only. We raise our children for the energy that we embody. So if on the top of all of that I've just listed and said, your mother was a people pleaser, she allowed, just examples, she allowed your father to disrespect her, to treat her as a doormat, or other people to treat her as a doormat. She would never put herself first. She would be, again, that ultimate people pleaser, everything for others, nothing for myself. She would criticize herself. She would always look down on herself, right? So that is lacking the core quality of feminine energy, which is self-worth, embodiment of self-love, unconditional self-worth and self-love. And only through embodiment of that quality is she able to teach you that. So when you're starting to heal mother wound, father wound, don't look at the illusion and the guilt, and through that guilt illusion of whether they were a good person or a bad person, look at the qualities of feminine and masculine energies. Did my mother had any of these qualities that are actually a distorted feminine? Did my father had any of these qualities, which is actually a distorted masculine. I need to heal that wound. All right, point number 2 that I mentioned to you is we have to release judgment, because healing of that wound is actually based on compassion. What does it mean? I recently heard someone say, and I give this little thing as an example, that, oh my God, it seems like when we go to therapy or shadow work, in my case, it seems like everything goes down to mother and the father. It seems like everything is their fault. It seems like they're doing everything wrong. And this poor girl was actually projecting her own fear, because she relatively recently become a mother, and now she's very self-conscious of not to create that wound within her children. But in reality, it is quite the opposite. We do not heal mother wound and father wound to blame our parents. It is a journey of understanding through compassion. So we already released guilt, right, from the first point. Now you have to release judgment. You are not looking into your relationship or the quality of the fatherhood and the motherhood of your parents to say they did this and they did that. You look into it to understand, to really dive deeper, to learn the distortion within their energy. And the reason I said that it must be rooted in compassion, it's a frequency of compassion actually, because when we heal, we don't look and turn around and look at our parents and say, you did this, so now because of that I have that wound and this is who I am, because that would be shifting the blame. It makes no point. We look towards them to say, I understand there was a distortion within your energy. Because of that distortion, this wound was created within me. Now I'm a grown up, so I'm going to heal that. I'm going to give to myself what you couldn't, not because you were a bad person, not because you were a bad parent, not because you could not give these things to me, but because you yourself was wounded. You were not given these things, nor was your mother, your father, and their mother and their father. And here I am, breaking generational trauma with love and compassion, with no guilt, with no judgment. All right. And the last thing that we need to talk about, because it's very important, and I feel like it's a sort of a misconception, right? When you start to heal a mother wound and father wound, you do it not to fix your relationship with your parents, but to fix yourself. And I don't actually like and resonate the word fix, because when we say that we need to fix something, it means that something is broken, and in creating that duality and that shame over ourselves. It's actually to achieve balance, to understand. Journey of healing, it's just semantics, right? But I want you to understand, journey of healing is journey of self-discovery. So what we're doing here, we're trying to understand our own wounds through the wounds of our parents that were actually an initiation and a trigger of these wounds within us. So we're trying to balance ourselves. We're trying to find wholeness within ourselves. We're not trying to have a better relationship with our parents. You have to accept that it might never happen. And it comes with that compassion and with that no judgment. If we have compassion towards them, if we have no judgment, we also release expectation. We understand that, okay, I am healing, but they did not take that decision. It is their decision to take, whether they're going to heal or not. So sometimes, in some cases, in process of us healing that mother wound, father wound, it may happen that the relationship shifts, that we start to behave differently. Maybe we even have conversation with our parents about that. And in consequence, we fix our relationship. But sometimes the wounding within your parents are beyond fixing. You healing your wound is not for you to fix them, is not for you to fix your relationship. And I find that many people confuse that. And when they start healing mother wound and father wound, they go to their parents, they start to force that healing on them as well. They start to make them realize, and again, because of all these things that I mentioned, the parents feel judged. The parents feel like they're being evaluated, like they tried the best they can. And here's the thing, when we heal our father wound and our mother wound, we're sometimes not even meant to ever have a conversation about our healing with them. It's very individual. Like I said, we can, sometimes it will happen, sometimes it will be that byproduct of our healing, but in many cases it will never happen, because it will be beyond their capacity to understand that to understand that generational trauma that you are breaking, that you are healing. So make sure that you are not, again, you have to heal it within yourself. You don't necessarily have to sit down with them and list the distortion in their energy to help them to heal that. It is their choice. You have to feel into it through, and again, just like your parents were meant to raise you through embodiment of certain qualities, now you are healing and you can help them heal through embodiment of healthy qualities. You shouldn't be forcing them. You shouldn't be pointing fingers towards them. You shouldn't be forcing conversations that you feel that they are not ready to have and they might not be in this lifetime. And the final thing that I want you to always remember, as souls, we choose our parents. Our parents are the most important karmic relationships that we have in this life. So that relationship is specifically designed to activate wounds within you that you decided as a soul to heal in this lifetime. So remember that you actually chose this. Many people fall into that trap, and as they heal, as they go through their traumas, they're like, I didn't choose this. Yes, you did. As a soul, the ego is resisting, but the soul actually chose that. So remember that. Again, release the guilt, activate compassion, release the judgment, understand that you are healing yourself. You are not healing others. Reconciliation is not necessary to heal mother wound and father wound. Sometimes we have to understand that with certain parents, we will have to cut that cord. We will have to stop that relationship. It may be part of your karmic contract to actually have the strength within you to say no more. But in some cases, you actually may just reinvent that relationship. Now I am healed. Now I understand. So given everything that I know, I'm not going to be forcing the relationship that I want to have with my mommy or with my daddy. I will just accept you for who you are as a person, with your wounds. This is what we all want from them all along. So as we heal, we have to offer to them, I accept you with your distortions, with your conditioning, with everything that you are, and I will reinvent our relationship so we can have that relationship, not necessarily the way I want to, the way I dreamed of, but the way you are capable of giving to me. And remember one thing, I've mentioned this yesterday to a beautiful woman that I had a session with, and it's an ultimate truth. And I want you to remember that many times people who actually are healing father wound, mother wound, those of us who are meant to break generational traumas, we're usually older souls, more experienced souls that came here to in some shape or form be awakened to the truth of life. So we are programmed to think that it's our parents that should teach us because they're older, they're wiser, but it's actually maybe the other way around. Part of your contract may have been that you are that older soul. Once you break from that generational trauma, subconsciously you will help them grow as souls. You will help them heal, but again, not through forcing, not through demanding, not through feeling entitled to have a better parent so they have to heal, but just through accepting them the way you are and embodying the healed frequency yourself. I hope this was helpful. If you still struggle with healing mother wound and father wound, and if you resonate with my energy, with everything that I said, and with shadow work and spiritual therapy, spiritual healing as something that you want to do, if you want to sign up for a session, link is in my bio. I have a lot of content about this as well. If you want to learn more, including self-healing package for specifically mother wound. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know, and I hope you manage to heal your mother wound and your father wound, because remember, we all have it.